was asked that, Prabhupada, is it true that sannyasis should not be traveling? What is this thing given in in the Vedic texts that sannyasis should not travel? So, a very common sense kind of approach. Sannyasis would be having their deities with them, their Shaligram Shiva Puja Shaligram deity, or where would they bathe, where would they eat, where would they perform their daily puja, so many things. You don't know which particular area you are going to. So for that, it was recommended that for fear of contamination, do not travel. And it was applicable to, you could say about 95% of sannyasis should not be taking that risk. Then we have Shankaracharya traveling all over India. By that time, lands outside India were quickly being occupied by royalty or Kshatriyas who had nothing to do with Vedic training, and Kali Yuga has set in. So what Prabhupada has advised is, this is not a line on the rock, like a concrete kind of prohibition. The bulk of the statement is for the protection of that particular candidate. And now Prabhupada uses Mahaprabhu's logic. All over the world, in every town and village, my name will be chanted. But this is Mahaprabhu speaking as Krishna. When you read Caritamrta Madhya Lila, you have to have this kind of a dual mindset. Mahaprabhu takes the role of a devotee and says that I pray that Krishna will be merciful to me. Krishna did not show me his form, so I'm very morose. That is Mahaprabhu, the devotee speaking. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa. We pray to the Panchatattva. So this Bhakta Rupa is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as Krishna, when he says something, my name will be chanted. Or what else he has said as Krishna? I command everyone to become a guru on my order. Whose order is that? A devotee cannot order. So this is the order coming from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now just see what a subtle point this is. So Prabhupada is saying, we are eternal servants of Krishna. Krishna has ordered this movement to be spread all over the world. Who is going to do it? The devotees. So those devotees who have capability and who carry the orders, traveling everywhere, something is happening to them. They are fulfilling Krishna's order, and they also will be protected by Krishna. So that is the basis on which Prabhupada said, I have taken up this task of going everywhere. The point of sit in one place, the world is contaminated, don't go there. So there are one or two things which at least every Prabhupada follower should note. I have told once, I think, in this forum, there is this Gujarati Srimad Bhagavad speaker, very popular with a particular community, Gujaratis, a sub-community of that. And 7 days of Srimad Bhagavatam stories and Krishna Lila, and very nice, and speaking about piety, the importance of hearing about Krishna. So he goes to the UK, to England, and mainly Birmingham, where Gujaratis are prominent, London, Southall, those kind of areas. And he carries with him his cook, his vegetables, his bathing water, his drinking water from India. And they said, my God, why this kind of precaution? I said, oh, this land there's too much of materialistic contamination. So our Shruti Dharma Prabhu, the previous temple president of the manor, told him about Prabhupada living for 1 full year with the hippies, with the counterculture, and doing his own shopping and cooking. And this man's jaw dropped. He said, your Swami stayed with them. Your Swami trained them to cook for him. And he ate that. And he translated 80 books. And he went all over the world. And he initiated 7,000 of you. He said, this man is not of this world for sure. This is evidence enough that he's straight from Vaikuntha. 3 days ago, somebody told me about Tirupati Balaji temple has a very long established lineage of priests from the Sri Sampradaya. Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya was the name of the head priest when Prabhupada was there. Prabhupada met him. He liked Prabhupada. Prabhupada liked him. One day, somehow someone told him that Srila Prabhupada has authorized ISKCON devotees to install his murtis in the temple. And Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya, out of extreme goodwill and a sense of giving protection, flew all the way from Tirupati to Bombay. And Prabhupada was pleasantly surprised. He said, I've just come for one small point. I heard from some of your disciples that you have authorized them to make your murtis. Now imagine, Prabhupada is in such a unique position. Prabhupada's disciples were not ready to understand what his mission is. He had to give them. Prabhupada's Prabhupada mantra is not given by anybody else. It is made by Prabhupada. You don't do things like that. You train your disciples or your godbrothers, and somebody extraordinary among them finds out what you are doing. Like Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's pranam mantras were offered by his trained disciples, and he kind of approved, yeah, this is okay, this is okay. Prabhupada has only one extra line after Namam Vishnu Padaya. We have the Namaste Gaura, Namaste Saraswati Devi. But Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur has two. They were given by, similarly, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also was offered by others. But what can Prabhupada do when he doesn't have anyone who understands his mission properly? Or how to glorify? So Prabhupada himself said okay, chant this also. Same thing with Prabhupada's Murti. So Prabhupada accepted everything what Sampat Kumar said, that yes, I know. Sampat Kumar said, no, please understand. After you depart, people by the dozens, by the hundreds, by the thousands would come. They would pray at your murti. They will touch your murti. They will ask benedictions. They will bring their problems. They'll bring their contamination. They'll bring all their karmic load on you because you're authorizing the murti, your deity form, as a replica of yourself. And that will bring massive burden onto your head. Prabhupada heard all of that and said, that's what I came here for. One simple line. You are saying that if people come to me with their problems, people come to me with their contamination, and they expect me to help them, that's precisely why I have come here. My God, can't have anything more simpler an explanation than that of an Acharya's role. So, Mahaprabhu traveling, we are reading South India, we should be seeing it from that angle. That the last 18 years of Mahaprabhu's life in Jagannath Puri is Krishna tasting Radha's love for him. Like, this is what happens to Radharani when Krishna is not visible before her. Krishna, Krishna, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Mahaprabhu is showing us through the safe avenue of a male body. Now there are female saints female bodied saints, but there is so much of a restriction that, like Mirabai, how many public discourses can she take? How many times she can go and engage in conversation? So these restrictions are there, and that is for everybody's good. So Mahaprabhu, Krishna taking the form of Radha. So therefore Radha's companions take male forms. Always remember this. Krishna, the male, supreme dominant, the Purusha, but his bhav, his emotions are female, that of the enjoyed. So he could very well have gopis coming as gopis, manjaris coming as manjaris. But no, to safeguard your and my mind from contamination, the same gopis come as male forms. The 6 Goswamis, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, everybody practically, they are all of that particular intimacy and proximity to Mahaprabhu's Leela. So that's how we understand. Any quick comments or questions before we proceed to the main Leelas? Okay. So text 108. Trimalla Bhattera Ghare Kaila Prabhuvas Tahani Rahila Prabhu Varshachari Mas. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived at the house of Trimalla Bhatta for the 4 months of the rainy season. I hope this Chaturmas thing is clear in your minds. Chatur, 4, Mas is months. Traditionally, say June, July, August, and September, 4 months, tropical Indian scenario, heavy rains almost everywhere. So transportation is risky, food is contaminated, water is contaminated in the sense of sometimes there is huge flooding. So a very common sense kind of approach was preachers, saints, high caliber, low caliber, whatever, just they are traveling. Those who are traveling, if they find they come to a particular place for Chaturmas, just stay there. Otherwise, in a predetermined way, choose a particular location, go there for 4 months and do not move. Got it? Very simple. Nothing complicated about that. Or sometimes take a particular project, write something, compose something, or construct something. In the 4 months, we have the Vaishyas, the merchants, they don't travel. People also traveling mostly is curtailed. Now you will see that Kali Yuga will have so many other challenges. Nowadays, there are no challenges for traveling. You can travel, air travel anytime. You can eat anytime, canned food or whatever, but there are complications. Somebody was saying that mango pulp available throughout the year. No issues with that. But do you know the amount of sodium benzoate they have to put in it to preserve it? That will cause you cancer. You may say, okay, my body is tough, I can handle that. You can handle that, but Ayurveda says mango can be properly digested only during this particular time of 3 to 4 months. After that, it will have a completely opposite effect. So we wonder why our bodies are crumbling like this. So there is dinacharya, at what time of the day you should eat. There is ritucharya, in what particular season, what particular food item should be eaten. Nobody knows that. So we have allopathy charya. You just pump in injections and antibiotics so much that it gives you a resemblance of health. Anyway, so this is about Chaturmas. Text 109. Shri Vaishnav Trimalla Bhatt Parama Pandit Gosaira Panditya Preme Haila Vismit. Shri Trimalla Bhatta was both a member of the Shri Vaishnav community and a learned scholar. Therefore, when he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was both a great scholar and a great devotee of the Lord, he was very much astonished. Text 110. Chaturmasya taha Prabhu Shri Vaishnava Rasane Gavaila Nritya Geeta Krishna Sankirtane. Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed the Chaturmasya months, the 4 months of the rainy season, with the Shri Vaishnavas, singing, chanting the holy name, and dancing. 111. Chaturmasya ante puna dakshina gaman Paramananda Puri saha tahani milan. At the end of Chaturmasya, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued traveling throughout South India. At that time, he made Paramananda Puri. 112. Tabe bhatta thari haite Krishna dasera udar Ram japi vipramukhe Krishna nam prachar. Translation. After this, Krishnadas, the servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was delivered from the clutches of a bhattathari. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then preached that Lord Krishna's name should be also chanted by Brahmanas who were accustomed to chanting Lord Ram's name. Now, this is a very sweet story. Purport. In the Malabar district, a section of Brahmanas are known as Nambudri Brahmanas, and the Bhattatharis are their priests. Bhattatharis know many tantric black arts, such as the art of killing a person, of bringing him under submission, and of destroying or devastating him. They're very expert in these black arts. And one such Bhattathari bewildered the personal servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while the servant accompanied the Lord in his travel through South India. Somehow or other, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered this Krishnadas from the clutches of the Bhattathari. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is well known as Patit Pavan, the savior of all fallen souls. And he proved this in his behavior toward his personal servant, Krishnadas, whom he saved. Sometimes the word Bhattathari is misspelled in Bengal as Bhattamari. This is a very significant story, very big rather purport. We'll come to it when we read Mahaprabhu's South India Yatra in detail. Would anyone like to carry on reading?
Prabhuji, I don't know the meter.
No worry. You can skip whatever complicates you. Just read the English translation.
Okay. I can read the verses, but not in the meter.
Sure. No issue.
Text 113. Sri Rangapuri Sahatahani Milana Ramadasa Viprera Kaila Duka Vimochana. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then met Sri Rangapuri and mitigated all the sufferings of a Brahmana named Ramadasa. Text 114. Tatvavadi Saha Kaila Tatvera Vichara Apanake Hina Buddhi Hailatana Sabara. Translation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also had a discussion with the Tattvavadi community, and Tattvavadis felt themselves to be inferior Vaishnavas. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tattvavadi sect belongs to Madhavacharya's Vaishnava community, but its behavior differs from the strict Madhavacharya Vaishnava principles. There is one monastery named Uttaradi, and one of its commanders was named Raghuvarya Tirtha Madhavacharya. Text 115. Ananta Purushottama Sri Janardana Padmanabha Vasudeva Kaila Darshana. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then visited the Vishnu temples of Anantadeva, Purushottama, Sri Janardana, Padmanabha, and Vasudeva. Purport. A temple of Ananta Padmanabha Vishnu is situated in Tiruvandrum district, Tiruvananthapuram. This temple is very famous in those quarters. Another Vishnu temple named Sri Janardana is situated about 26 miles north of Trivandrum district near the railway station called Varkala. Text 116. Tabe Prabhu Kaila Sapta Tala Vimochana Setu Bande Snana Rameshwara Darshana. Translation. After that, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered the celebrated Sapta Tala trees, took his bath at Setubanda, Rameshwara, and visited the temple of Lord Shiva known as Rameshwara. Purport. It is said that the Saptatala trees were very old, massive palm trees. There was once a fight between Vali and his brother Sugriva, and Lord Ramachandra took the side of Sugriva and killed Vali, keeping himself behind one of those celebrated trees. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu toured South India, he embraced the trees which were delivered and directly promoted to Vaikuntha. Text 117. Tahani Karila Kurma Purana Sravana Maya Sita Nilaika Ravana Tahate Likana. Translation. At Rameshwara, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a chance to read the Kurma Purana, in which he discovered that the form of Sita kidnapped by Ravana was not that of the real Sita, but a mere shadow representation. Purport. The Kurma Purana states that this shadowy Sita was placed into a fire as a test of chastity. It was Maya Sita who entered the fire and the real Sita who came out of the fire. Text 118. Suniya Prabhura Anantita Haila Mana Rama Dasa Viprera Kata Haila Smarana. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very glad to read about the false Sita, and he remembered his meeting with Ramadasa Vipra, who was very sorry that Mother Sita had been kidnapped by Ravana. Text 119. Se Puratana Patra Agraha Kari Nila Ramadase Dekaya Dukka Kandaila. Translation. Indeed, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eagerly tore this page from the Kurma Purana, although the book was very old, and he later showed it to Ramadasa Vipra, whose unhappiness was mitigated. Text 120. Brahma Samhita Karnamrita Dui Punti Pana Dui Pustaka Lana Aila Uttama Janina. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also found two other books, namely the Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita. Knowing these books to be excellent, he took them to present to his devotees. Purport. In the olden days, there were no presses and all the important scriptures were handwritten and kept in large temples. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu found the Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita in handwritten text, and knowing them to be very authoritative, he took them with him to present to his devotees. Of course, he obtained the permission of the temple commander. Now both the Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita are available in print with commentaries by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Text 121. Punarpi Nilachale Gamana Karila Bhaktagane Meliya Snana Yatra Dekila. Translation. After collecting these books, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri. At that time, the bathing ceremony of Jagannatha was taking place and he saw it. Text 122. Anavasare Jagannatera Napana Darshana Virahe Alala Nata Karila Gamana. Translation. When Jagannatha was absent from the temple, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who could not see him, felt separation and left Jagannath Puri to go to a place known as Alalnatha. Purport. Alalnatha is also known as Brahmagiri. This place is about 14 miles from Jagannath Puri and is also on the beach. There is a temple of Jagannatha there. At the present moment, a police station and a post office are situated there because so many people come to see the temple. The word Anavasara is used when Sri Jagannath Ji cannot be seen in the temple. After the bathing ceremony, Snana Yatra, Lord Jagannatha apparently becomes sick. He is therefore removed to his private apartment where no one can see him. Actually, during this period, renovations are made on the body of the Jagannatha deity. This is called Nava Yavana. During the Rath Yatra ceremony, Lord Jagannatha once again comes before the public. Thus, for 15 days after the bathing ceremony, Lord Jagannatha is not visible to any visitors. Text 123. Bhakta Sane Dina Kata Tahani Rahila Gaudera Bhakta Aisa Samachara Paila. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained for some days at Alalnatha. In the meantime, he received news that all the devotees from Bengal were coming to Jagannath Puri. Text 124. Nityananda Sarvabhauma Agraha Karina Nilachale Aila Maha Prabhuke La Ina. Translation: when the devotees from Bengal arrived at Jagannath Puri, both Nityananda Prabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya greatly endeavored to take Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu back to Jagannath Puri. 125. Virahe Vihavala Prabhu na jane ratri dine hena kale aila gaudera bhaktagane. Translation: when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally left Alalnata to return to Jagannath Puri, he was overwhelmed both day and night due to separation from Jagannatha. His lamentation knew no bounds. During this time, all the devotees from different parts of Bengal and especially from Navadvipa arrived in Jagannath Puri. Text 126. Sabe mili yukti kari kirtana arambila kirtana avese prabhura manastira haila. Translation: after due consideration, all the devotees began chanting the holy name congregationally. Lord Chaitanya's mind was thus pacified by the ecstasy of the chanting. Forward. Being absolute in all circumstances, Lord Jagannatha's person, form, picture, and kirtana are all identical. Therefore, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, he was pacified. Previously, he had been feeling very morose due to separation from Jagannatha. The conclusion is that whenever a kirtan of pure devotees takes place, the Lord is immediately present. By chanting the holy names of the Lord, we associate with the Lord personally. 127. Purve yabe Prabhu Ramanandera Milila Nila Chele Asibare Tanre Agnya Dila. Translation: previously, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had been touring South India, he had met Ramananda Raya on the banks of the Godavari. At that time, it had been decided that Ramananda Raya would resign from his post as governor and return to Jagannath Puri to live with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 128. Raja Agnya Lana Tenho Aila Kata Dine Ratri Dine Krishna Kata Ramananda Sane. Translation: upon the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Ramananda Raya took leave of the king and returned to Jagannath Puri. After he arrived, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very much enjoyed talking with him both day and night about Lord Krishna and his pastimes. Text 129. Kasi Misre Kripa Pradyumna Misradi Milana Paramananda Puri Govinda Kasiswara Agamana. Translation: after Ramananda Rai's arrival, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his mercy upon Kasi Mishra and met Pradyumna Mishra and other devotees. At that time, three personalities, Paramananda Puri, Govinda, and Kashishwara, came to Sri Lord Chaitanya at Jagannath Puri. Text 130. Damodara Swarupa Milane Parama Ananda Sikhi Mahiti Milana Raya Bhava Nanda. Translation: eventually there was a meeting with Swarupa Damodara Goswami and the Lord became very greatly pleased. Then there was a meeting with Sikhi Mahiti and with Bhavananda Raya, the father of Ramananda Raya. Text 131. Gaudaha Aiti Sarva Vaishnavera Agamana Kulina Grama Vasi Sange Pratama Milana. Translation: all the devotees from Bengal gradually began arriving at Jagannath Puri. At this time, the residents of Kulina Grama also came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the first time. 132 text. Narahari Dasa Adi Yata Khanda Vasi Shivananda Sena Sange Milila Sabe Asi. Eventually, Narahari Dasa and other inhabitants of Khanda, along with Shivananda Sena, all arrived, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met them. Text 133. Snana Yatra Deki Prabhu Sangi Bhakta Gana Sabha Lana Kaila Prabhu Gundecha Marjana. After seeing the bathing ceremony of Lord Jagannatha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed and cleaned Sri Gundicha temple with the assistance of many devotees. Text 134. Sabha Sange Rata Yatra Kaila Darshana Rata Agre Nritya Kari Udyane Gamana. After this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees saw the Rath Yatra, the car festival ceremony. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself danced in front of the car, and after dancing, he entered a garden. Text 135. Pratapa Rudrera Kripa Kaila se sthane Gaudiya Bhakte Ajna Dila Vidya Yera Dine. In the garden, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his mercy upon King Prataparudra. Afterwards, when the Bengali devotees were about to return home, the Lord gave separate orders to almost every one of them. Text 136. Pratyabda asibe rata yatra darshane yichale chahe bhakta ganera milane. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired to meet all the devotees of Bengal every year. Therefore, he ordered them to come to see the Rath Yatra festival every year. If
So now
anyone wants to
there
read,
is a change in the pastime. So we will take a small break here. Anything to ask about what we've read so far? Just to remind you, this is a small capsule of big time events, like almost everything. Mahaprabhu dancing in front of the Rath Yatra, Mahaprabhu going in a garden, Mahaprabhu meeting all these devotees. The word Milan comes. So meeting Swarup Damodar Goswami is itself a big, huge event. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is just giving a small, just like a trailer before the big movie event begins. And some salient points. Life was such that Mahaprabhu would tell people, come here for 4 months. Imagine you can give your job up for 4 months in a year, chant, dance, eat, happily go back. The job is there. There is no fear of redundancy. There is no fear of, knowledge enhancement. Do I have to take one more degree, one more diploma just to. They say today you have to run faster to stay in the same place. Is it not? So this is how materialistic activities, without even us knowing, entangle us so much. And therefore it is called the darkness. And we feel darkness? What darkness? Technology is increasing, memory space increasing, gadgets are becoming more and more fantastic. Where is the darkness? In order to understand that darkness, you have to come and see a light a little bit. Otherwise, you'll never even understand that this is the nature of Maya. So, there is one small sentence. Mahaprabhu practically gave unique instructions to each and every devotee. If you just go back 2 or 3 lines, you'll find that. So this is one of my favorite topics of research, that in bhakti devotion service, which are the things which are common, everyone has to do them. The 9 processes, all of us do the same thing. Hear, chant, dance, remember, prayers, considering Lord a friend, consider ourselves to be a servant, engaging everything in the service of the Lord. However, within that circle of Navda Bhakti or whatever, there could be individual instructions for a particular time, place, and a situation. It's very much there. So things like get married, get out of marriage, take sannyas, or do this, or do that, serve here, serve there. Prabhupada once considered a disciple serving his guru like a son serving and massaging his father's body. And after massaging the left shoulder, the son asks, can I work on your right shoulder? And the father may say, no, 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 you're doing good. I want you to massage my left shoulder today more. You may say, but I would really like to have some change in the seva. So what is this change in seva? You're not changing the person. You're not saying, instead of massaging my father, I'll massage somebody in the street outside, or I'll open a massage shop. No. You are totally dedicated for serving one person, but you would like some kind of a change here and there. Like Giriraj Maharaj was asking Prabhupada, no, he was thinking with himself, if I tell I should serve in Mumbai, Prabhupada would agree. If I say I should serve in Kolkata, Prabhupada would still agree. If I say I should serve in Chennai, Madras at that time. But I want to know what Prabhupada wants. So one day he came and said, Srila Prabhupada, you are giving so much time to the Mumbai project. Prabhupada said, yeah, it's very important. Mumbai is the gateway to India. It's very important. A few months ago, I was in Chennai and we got that High Court judge. He was so appreciative of you. So would you like to expand your activities in Chennai? Prabhupada said, yeah, Chennai is very important. He said, it's not working. I want Prabhupada to tell me which is the place where I should serve. Srila Prabhupada, you said you were born in Kolkata and you would very much like to see Kolkata develop into a very good temple and a very good community. But said, yes, Calcutta is very important. So he resigned. He said, I cannot force Prabhupada to tell me what I should be doing. So that also may happen. You may think that, oh, this service is special because my guru personally told me to do this. You know what is the overarching service which Prabhupada would be most happy if we all do it? Prabhupada said, if you love Krishna. That's all. Whether you love Krishna by distributing books, by cooking, by cleaning, by giving money in charity, by reading his books, so many things you can do. But the goal is to, if you love Krishna, that's all. That will make that purpose, it will make me most happy. Yeah, so this is the science of understanding why devotees get two sets of instructions. One is a general one, which is there eternally. Like remember Krishna was there in the Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago. Remember Krishna when Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago. And remember Krishna with Thakur Bhakti Vinod, with Gaur Kishore Babaji, with Bhakti Santari Thakur, with A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and will remain so for the next 10,000 years till there is preaching going on. And even when this Kali Yuga is over and another set of Satya, Tirtha, Dwapar, Kali starts, the same instruction will be there. The language could be different, the way it could be different. Right now, in millions of planets, wherever preaching is going on, the same instruction. Remember Krishna. Love Krishna. Isn't it wonderful? That we are having so many Kali Yuga centric activities, but our main job is the same. To remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So we shall stop here. We'll meet again next week. Thank you all for your association. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpataru